Welcome again to Reflections on the Community and its Cultures. This time around, ringing in the spirit of the season and an important conference coming up. Later, Andy Amick will talk about the Salvation Army's work and how the Christmas bell ringing supports that work so importantly. First up, Sonia Larimore will bring us information about an elder conference coming up around our communities. All that's coming up on Reflections. On this segment of Reflection, we welcome Sonia Larimore. Sonia?
Sonia.
Sonia. Yeah. Okay, I always do that wrong. I think I did, didn't I? Anyhow, she's going to forgive me that because otherwise we'll give her trouble with the interview. And she's here to talk about a very special event that's coming up at three places, but not three places at the same time anyway, all in connection with the SEK Senior Safety and Wellness Coalition.
Correct.
Okay. First off, let's define the terms. What's the Senior Safety and Wellness Coalition?
It's a group of about 45 to 50 service agencies that provide care for seniors in different aspects, from nursing home to assisted livings, and even community members that are came together 5 or 6 years ago and decided that we needed to raise awareness about elder abuse and give people the resources to go to more easily attainable than what it was, and to prevent the elder abuse in our communities.
Okay. And what range, again, we're talking about an event that's going to be taking place at Coffeyville, Chanute, and Parsons in that order. What area does the SEK Senior Safety and Wellness Coalition, we're going to find an acronym?
We tried to find an acronym and it just didn't.
Starts with 3 S's and that makes it tough. All right. But anyway, SWAC, I guess. What area does it cover?
It covers about the bottom 11 counties in Kansas, from Iola down to Coffeyville and both over to Pittsburgh, Sedan.
Is this a state-type organization? And what I'm
saying
is
it's a coalition. There's a triad in Wichita that deals with the same thing, and they have a huge following and group there, and they're very active in raising awareness and advocating for the senior population.
Okay, and what is your role? What is your title? I guess we like titles.
We do. I just like to be a part, but I am the co-chair of the coalition.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Sounds like a pretty big deal.
Well,
we won't push you too hard on that.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the special events that we're here to talk about.
Okay. The events are being sponsored by a penny grant, and is a grant from the KDOA, and that is how we got our funding to provide that.
Okay.
The
KDOA means?
Was the Kansas Department on Aging, which is now KDAD, so I don't know how the grant will be called next year, but that's what.
And you called it a penny grant?
A penny grant.
What does that mean?
I actually can't answer that at this time. Thank you, Jim.
Well, I try not to let people get away with acronyms.
Right, and I do understand that. But anyhow, it's a grant that we've applied for, and it is funding and paying for the conferences to be taped and put on.
Okay.
The first one's going to take place in Coffeyville, and it's going to be on January 16th from 1 to 3. And Tony Celeste, the current and new police chief of Coffeyville, will be the guest speaker. And he has dealt with Medicaid, Medicare fraud, and we're going to be dealing with financial abuse in that. And these conferences are geared towards people that live in the communities and caregivers, and that is our target audience.
Right. Is that particular session then will be devoted to the financial abuse aspect? The others will be? And
that'll be from 1 to 3 on the 16th.
Okay.
And then the next one is on, what'd be the 23rd?
The next week, yeah.
They're 3 weeks in a row. The next one's on the 23rd, and that one is in Chanute. And that one will be dealing with hoarding. And what's the title of it? It's What a Mess, Understanding Hoarding and the Continuation of Clutter. And Linda Farr will be talking about that. And she is a member of a hoarding coalition. And when I found her as a speaker, I didn't realize that they actually had a coalition dealing with hoarding. And it's a big deal. And I've seen it in home care.
Right, and we're going to circle back and go back to each of these topics too, and give you a chance to expound on them and expand on them a little bit.
Yeah, and that one's going to be at the municipal building meeting room in Parsons.
That's Chanute.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Okay. Hey, I
You did
scored
good.
a point
Yes,
there.
you
All
did.
right.
Yes, you did. And then
And then the next week, which would be Wednesday, January 30, then you're in Parsons.
we're in Parsons, and Miss Nancy Trout will be speaking on elder abuse and caregiver stress and burnout.
Okay.
Again, these are all focused towards the people that live in their homes and their caregivers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you kind of covered, this will be covering a pretty wide range. You know, we've talked on this program a few times about elder abuse topics, and some of them are a little surprising. Some of them, again, I've heard enough people talk about it that I'm not surprised anymore. But let's go back to the first session you have, which is on financial abuse, which is a big deal. We tend to think of abuse. We go down to the one that's going to be in Parsons, and we think of people beating up on people,
Correct.
hurting people
Correct.
physically. Financial abuse is a huge thing in the elder population.
It is. The elderly hold the majority of the wealth of our communities, and that makes them a target because you're going to go after the people that have the access to the money. And then as you age, there's the increase of memory impairment, and then that makes them a very easy target.
And what sort of things will you likely be focusing on there? And who will be attending this? Let me ask that too.
Again, we're focusing on the people of the community and the caregivers that take care of them.
Okay, so you're looking at the prime audience that could be susceptible to this stuff. Okay.
We're going to be trying to show them what, as an elder, what they need to be watching out for. You know, don't just have your caregiver come and sign your checks and let them go to Walmart or whatever, because you don't know what they're going to purchase when they go. You know, so know who's working for you, and even after they've have helped take care of them for a number of years, if they have a financial issue that happens, being the caregiver have a financial, that makes them need to get money somehow, and you know, you've been taking care of Mary for 2 or 3 years, and Mary trusts you, and that makes an easy bridge to abuse somebody.
One of the dumb questions that they hired me for is, who are these caregivers likely to be? I mean, you know, my initial response is to think that that's a person in the family, but that's not always the case, is it?
It is a lot of the case. People that are on different services through the state, they can do what they call self-directed care, and so you know, you can hire somebody to come in and take care of you, or you could hire your neighbor privately, or somebody from the church, or you know, just anybody. It doesn't have to be.
But it does frequently come from the immediate family or close to the immediate family.
It's a very high statistical number, and I can't give you the exact one, but majority of the time they know the person that's abusing them. Right,
and again, it's the kind of thing, financial abuse is the kind of thing that can happen without anybody being aware of it, without the person being aware of it.
Yes, exactly. One of the saddened statistics is somebody that is financially abused, that person has a likelihood of dying within the 18 months after the discovery of that abuse, and that's sad.
And it makes a twisted kind of sense. I mean, A, you've been heavily betrayed by someone you trust and love. B, you're out of funds.
Yeah, and you can't earn them back.
And you can't get it back. And C, well, you're elder, you know, and that would just be horrible. Then the next session, Wednesday, January 23rd at Chanute on hoarding.
I'm excited about that one. I've never had a lot of information or training in that area. I've seen a lot of it as a home care manager for a number of years. So I'm really excited to see how that's presented and what kind of information that comes out of that.
Who'll be making that presentation? Do you know?
Linda Farr.
Okay. And again, let's sort of define hoarding. There are some TV shows that I'm scared to watch.
Yeah, I can't watch them either.
But you know, the definition of that basically is when things take over your life. Right.
And you get so attached to your things that you cannot emotionally or physically get rid of them because they consume you.
And again, it can get to just weird and strange lengths.
Well, it becomes a health issue.
It happens with animals too.
Yes.
People hoard animals, and they don't think of that's what they're doing, but then the animals take over their lives.
Right.
or the magazines take over their lives. It's just such a bizarre thing. So that's the 23rd, that session in Chanute on hoarding. And then you have one coming up on the 30th, which is the following Wednesday. And that one will be in Parsons. And that one is, again, what I said a little while ago, is kind of focused on what most people actually think of when you say elder
Right.
abuse. And that's people being physically abused.
And she would probably cover all aspects of the elder abuse and maybe not focus on the financial piece as much.
Mm-hmm.
But abuse and neglect can take on, somebody's supposed to come fix you a meal. Your neighbor says, yeah, I'll be over to fix a meal, and they don't come see you for a week, and you're not able to get up to fix your meal. That's a form of majorly of neglect.
Oh, yes.
And so that piece, people being aware of what it looks like, what is the definition?
And again, that word abuse carries very, very heavy baggage, and it should, but it carries, you kind of forget, well, this person isn't hurting me, they're just ignoring me. And that's
right.
That's what we're talking about.
It becomes another issue, and they don't report it or try to do anything because that person is the only person I know that will bring me my groceries. They may not bring it to me when I need it, or they may not, but I don't have any other contact. My kids live, in California or New York or wherever.
Okay, let me stop you right there. If that's your situation, I've got this person, they're doing wrong, but they're the only person. I would bet that the SEK, Senior Safety and Wellness Coalition, can come in and say, whoa, that's not the only person in the world.
Correct. I mean, we are available for resource. They can call me at Assisted Living at Windsor Place.
And what's that number?
251-0214.
Okay.
And I'd be glad to direct them or listen to what they have going on and be a resource for them. And I don't have the 800 reporting number for the abuse, but it is out there that they can call the SRS office and report that. There's an 800 number reporting number. And if they're with an agency, they can always call that agency contact person and get information and help. But I
understand people can contact 4 County in our area too, again, to say, I heard that woman talk about that thing, and they'll get you to someone who can tell you what that thing was.
That's correct. That's correct. We just want to be a resource within the community to where they have somebody that isn't maybe an official, where they may be afraid to say something, but there's a friendly face and a friendly voice that can help them through their process.
So again, those sessions, Wednesday the 16th in Coffeyville, Wednesday the 23rd in Chanute, Wednesday the 30th in Parsons, and you don't have to be from Coffeyville, Chanute, or Parsons. So you could choose one of those that you want to take a look at. And we appreciate the information. These sound exciting, and they sound very valuable. And you had something very briefly you wanted to say.
I did. If they want to register, they do not have to pre-register, but if they'll call Susan Hill here at 4 County at 332-1912 for more information or to register. That way we can kind of have a head count on how many people we need to set up for.
Okay, sounds great. Sonia Larimore, thank you very much for the
Guy.
information. Enjoyed the conversation. We'll have more coming up on Reflections.